Over to you then, Luke.
No problem. Thanks, Derek. Right, lads, I have a couple of different salmon patterns this evening. What I'm
Good
going to
evening.
tie the pattern tied by Andrew Laverty. It's a Poly-chrome Cascade. Now, what I'm going to be tying on tonight is partridge Nordic tube singles in a size 6. I have one tied here. It's not on a partridge hook, mainly because I ran out of them. So I had to make do with another for the moment. You see it there now. Very nice pattern. It's actually taken a fish from me over the last few days too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get tying. There's my partridge Nordic tube single, and at the top I got a fluorescent chartreuse bead. They're from Chuck and Duck fly tying then as well. They're 3.2 millimeter and they're counter sunk. I have used slotted beads as well before for patterns, but I find when I'm using slotted beads in salmon flies and stuff like that, I noticed when after a few casts, the slotted bead is that heavy, it's actually knocking the fly out of place and it's almost detaching from the body of the fly. So that's what I do. Well, instead, I started using countersunk beads. They seem to sit better. They don't move on me or anything like that. If I'm using slotted beads, what I usually do is I go in with a bit of UV resin in the slot and it meets the hook and I just cure it and it stops the slotted bead from moving. You can do it that way as well if you want, if you can't get your hands on any countersunk beads. So for now, I'm going to start tying on you. I'll just start tying right at the bead, right behind it. The thread I'm using then is from Trout Line. It's 50 denier. It's a fluorescent red, very strong thread. It's a flat thread. It's not twisted. I prefer a flat thread. It makes your body that little bit more streamlined. It gives you more grounds to tie on. That's just my view of it. 1 second there now. And I'm going to run it all the way down around the bend. Come all the way around till you can see right about here, there's the flat part of the hook. And then it'll start going into a bend. I take it around that bend a little bit. Now, apologies. Now, when I saw the video of Andrew Laverty tying this fly, he did put in a green wire into it. Now, unfortunately, I've got no green wire left. So what I'll be doing to substitute that is a bit of lime green, light bright, glow bright, sorry. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be putting in some of that as a tag. So I'm going to take out a length of that now. About that much of a length. Right. And just tie it in where you come around the bend. And just wind your way back up the hook. Now, at this point then I'm going to cut off that bit of a piece that you see the tag sticking up there. Cut it off around there. What I'm looking to tie back up to with a tag like this is come back up around that bend where you see the hook starts leveling back out, where the bend meets the curve. That's what I'm going to do. Right, and I'm going to take my thread up a little bit further just to get it up the way when I'm winding up those turns. So bring that down to there. Now, wind your way up. Now, because this is a floss that I'm bringing up, it is bright, but underneath the red thread seems to come through a lot. So what I actually do there is I wind up to the point where I want to get to first and stop there. And then actually wind back down on itself again and then wind my way back up. It's just to build on that color, creates a bit of a hot spot, and that's what I find has been working on my river for myself on the past few days. So I did have a fish take this the other day. It was the first one I met all season. The run has been great here this year. So it's starting to pick up now at the moment. The other day when I went out, I met 8 fish. I hooked 3 and I landed 1. Now I'm going to stop there. You see where I've got my tag all the way up to. And I'm just going to get to my thread here now. And I'm going to wind that thread back down. I'll take away those few loose wraps that I did. And it'll bring me all the way back down. Right. And stop there. And cross your thread. And cross your...
Have you noticed anything different, Luke, between the wire and the thread for the hot spot?
Not exactly. The wire, you see the wire I found, it was a darker green that was in it. Now your wire will last longer. Now your floss, obviously, it's floss. It's going to be weaker. You get a few fish on it. It's going to get beat up fairly fast and it will break on you. So what I do to counteract that is a bit of UV resin.
Yeah, no, I always UV my hotspots.
Yeah, always. It just bring a better shine to it too. Pete?
Whenever I'm tying up a few trout flies with a hotspot, I would
do the hot spots in batches, maybe 6 flies and just
Yeah,
put the globe right into a bobbin and spin it on and then UV them.
that's it. It's not a bad way to do it. Now, you could do it another way. I have a bit of super glue there. You could just put a bit of super glue over it. It is stronger. It does cure faster. And what you could do then is a bit of what I've got here is Vineyard #1 seal iron head. You could put that over it as well, but it does take longer in drying. You're sat there waiting for it to dry. I just find the UV resin, it's a bit faster. You cure it quick, which reminds me, I'll have to actually get my torch there. One sec. No, I've managed to get my torch there as well. I had it on charge there as well before this started. Now, in the tail area, I'll show you what's going in there. It's just bucktail now, but it's a mixture of 4 colours. Now I'll get my bit of UV resin. I take about that much onto a double needle, if anyone can see it there.
That's something you might not have seen, Luke, which I use.
What's that, Pete?
Flybox do rock hard UV resin,
Right.
which is a varnish on a brush.
Where'd you get that out of?
Flybox.
How much, by any chance?
Oh, I think it was a couple of quid a bottle, not dear.
I need to get my hands on some of that.
Just use it as a brush, like an ordinary varnish.
That's way handier.
You see, if you go into, I don't know if you have this shop, it's called The Range. You go in there, you can pick up a bottle of this. It's for women's nails, and it dries clear. It's a super glue, but it dries clear, and it comes with a brush. It's £1 a bottle. Brilliant stuff.
With it being super glue, Matthew, does it bloom when you fish, or do you put any varnish over it beforehand?
You don't need to with that stuff because it's for the women's nails. It dries clear and stays clear.
Okay, but I'm on about, when it gets wet in the water.
The normal super glue turns white. No, this one stays. This one stays clear.
They've obviously tested it with the amount of time they spend their hands in the sink.
Yeah.
All right, lads. You can see here now I mixed a bit of bucktail together. There's blue, there's yellow, there's hot orange, and there is purple as well inside in that tail. That's the mixture of 4 colours, right? That's what's in this fly. So when I measure on my bucktail length, some people like to do them the length of the body, some people like to do them double the length, some people like to do them a length and a half. For me, I measure out usually double the length. Now, some people do the length of the body. I actually do double the length of where I have my hot spot to the eye of the hook. So there to there, and that's where I get my length. And I just pinch them in between these 2 fingers, put them up on the left side of my hook towards myself. Pinch and loop, come down, up again, pinch and loop, come down. That'll secure it. And then wind your way down and secure in that bucktail. Come all the way down to where you meet your hot spot. And there you go. You'll see it sitting there simple like that. Now you can get it to splay a bit if you want. What you can do there is you can lift that up and you can pull in a thread turn, and that'll get it to splay up for you. It'll just make it look that bit more shrimpy. It'll splay it out a bit and it'll separate a lot of the fibers as well. So then when I have that tied down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in. What I usually do is cut at an angle, so I get a taper coming back towards the bead, and it'll create more space for me to tie in because there's 4 hackles going in the front of this as well. And what Andrew ties this in with, he actually uses holographic and black floss. Now I haven't got holographic and black floss, but what I am going to tie it in with is a bit of Lagarton mini flat braid. This is a fluorescent pink, and then I've got Lagarton mini flat braid in black as well. Then. Now, just cut that off, and it has that taper, as you can see here towards the front. There's more fibre back here, and it splays down into a bit of a taper. So that'll carry your body then all the way down. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to secure that in. Wind it all the way down as far as you need to go, and then wind your way back up the body. Now, for flash in this fly, another thing that I see Andrew use is a bit of purple crystal flash. Now, I ran out of purple crystal flash. I've got a few different options here with crystal flash. I've got Angel, I have Silver Angel here. What I've been finding very good on my salmon flies lately is a bit of this stuff. It's a micro flash. It's very thin crystal flash, but I find it sits better on the tail, mixes in well with it, But because of the purple that he uses in this fly, what I'm actually going to use is a bit of this stuff here. 1 second now. I love this in my salmon flies as well. Matt, you would have seen it in a couple of my flies. It is FFG Crystal Flash. It's in navy blue. That's the color of it. Now, I'm going to take out 2 strands of that. Well, what I can normally do is take out the 1 strand. I can fold it back, double it back on itself anyway. So I've got a length cut off there. So I cut the length, it there. Now, with my Crystal Flash, I don't let it come shorter than the tail. I actually let it go a little bit longer because it catches the color. So I'll go to about here, and it'll be slightly longer than the tail. Tie it in, down once, twice, and see where you get it, where you want it to sit. Do you want to sit it on the side towards yourself and on the back side, or do you want it to sit on top? That's down to preference. That's down to preference, whatever way you tie or whatever way you're most comfortable with. To me, I kind of go slightly off middle and then wind down for an extra 2 turns. And then I fold it back over on itself and come around the other side of the hook. I find it fits better into the tail. That's just what's worked for me. Everybody's different. Trim it off.
Did you cut them slightly longer than the bucktail, or are they cut at the same length?
Slightly longer, Matthew, yeah. Slightly longer. The reason for that is, well, no, I'm actually after cutting it a bit too long there now, is what I've noticed, because my bucktail actually has a taper in it. So what some people will do is they'll get a stacker for their bucktail and they'll stack it to get them all even lengths. I don't like my tails sitting that way. I like my tails to get a bit of a taper in it. So the short fibers here, then middle length, obviously, and then longer fibers at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And for that is, it just looks a bit more shrimpy when it comes to salmon. No, that's the tail done there. So what I'm going to do then after that is I'm going to get some of that fluorescent pink flat braid. You can see it there. It's a nice color. It kind of when you move it as well in the light, and especially when it's being fished, there's a bit of a almost pearl tinge in with it too. So you get a nice flash off of it. Now, so what I'm going to do here is tie it down, wind it about halfway down the hook. That'll be the first section of the body. Right, we'll come down. Apologies, no, this wouldn't catch in for me. It's been stubborn, which happens from time to time. No. So I'm about, could say, halfway down there. Now, what I do to protect this body, because it's mini flat braid, you don't need wire. Well, that's down to preference again. You can use wire if you want, but the flat braid is strong enough anyway as it is. But what I do is I get a bit of that super glue again. And this has a brush on it then as well. It's easy to apply it onto the body and stuff like that. No. And I put a little drop on the top and a drop on the bottom. And I put this straight back in. Now, I spilled my super glue on the floor a few weeks ago and the missus nearly killed me, so I close that bottle every time now. Yeah. So now, 1 wrap at the back. And make sure you get a full turn, because when you're on this side with the flat braid looking at you, there's not a full turn done. There's a bend almost in the flat braid, So then come up again and then wrap over the last wrap and wrap over the previous wrap again. And then 1 more. That'll bring you about halfway up your body. And then you're going to tie off in the middle. That's 1, 2, and then pull it back out of your way. 3. There you go. That's 3 wraps now. And now you're free to trim that away. Cut it off. That's the first section of your body. Second section of your body then is going to be, for me, is the black Lagarton mini flat braid. I find these flat braids very good. I actually get them off Tony McCann as well, lads. So I find them very good. I can't fault them at all. I haven't had a body wrecked on me on a fly yet. So they do last. But what makes them last that bit longer then as well is that bit of super glue on the body. It holds them down. There's no need for wire protection. So it's absolutely, I find them absolutely brilliant. I can only say good things about them, to be honest. Now, I'll trim off this little bit of an edge here. There we go, that's that trimmed. About halfway into the body there, tie it on. Now, just look at where I'm at here. Just to see where I'm at, because I'm going to need space up towards that bead as well. Right? So I'm actually going to pinch and loop down, just so that I have that tied down. Now, that's the flat braid tied down. I'm going to come back up here. Now, yeah, make sure it's all tight. Now I'm going to leave about, I want to say, about 3 mil after the bead, because I am going to tie in fox as well. It's going to contrast in colours so that the fly is not too bright. Sometimes in bright weather can spook the fish, so that's the reason that the fox is tied in, I believe, as well, and this bit of black braid here. If you've done a whole body pink as well and stuff like that, you're going to see the contrasting colours, especially with that green hot spot in the end of the salmon fly, and with the amount of different colours in the tail.
Is that the large flat braid, or does it come in sizes? It looks a lot longer than the Vivas flat braid.
It's a mini flat braid. I do have other flat braids there, but I find these the best ones to use, Pete. They're actually very small. They're very thin.
What sort of material is that flat braid made from? Is it, is it metal or what is it?
Do you
I've
know
never
what?
used it.
I haven't a clue. When I first heard about flat braid, it was tying. I remember we were tying at the show there a couple of months ago, Matthew, in the Irish Spring Angling Fair. The mate of mine, John Maduro, was telling me about the flat braids, and he was saying that if you get them, there's no use for your wire wraps or anything like that. They last that bit longer as well. I've noticed as well with some flies there. If I done, with holographic, just plain holographic silver and stuff like that, if you were to wrap it up the body and stuff, and you put your wire up, bit of black floss and that kind of crack, I'm only getting about 2 to 3 fish in that before the fly's wrecked. Now I could put a bit of glue down the body as well, same, and then wrap the wire up as well. You could do that as well if you do want it to last a bit longer, but I just find because it's thinner, normal. Let me see, I'll get some of it here. This is just uni mylar. It's a holographic gold. I know I have that in silver there as well. I have it in a few different colours, but I haven't gone near those spools in a long time since I started using the flat braids. I haven't. And for the wing here now, I'm going to get a bit of Arctic Fox. You can use Arctic Runner. I'm actually waiting for a bit of that now as well. I have a small bit left in this one. I have a full patch of it as well there, but there's a small bit here. So I'm going to take off, just measure out what you feel is the right size for the fly. So what I actually do is I get a rough amount in my hand like that, and I put it on the fly to see what it looked like almost. Right? So I have that sitting on top there. And now, for me, I do take away some of the guard hairs at top, because there's some of the finer hair in behind that guard hair as well. It just seems to sit better on the fly, and it blends into the tail a little bit better too. So now I'm gonna cut this off then. No. Now with the Arctic Fox, there's a bit of under four, sorry. Pull that out, put it into your waste basket or whatever you're using. Now I pull out some of these guard hairs then. You see what way it looks. You can always add as well before you tie on, but that's about as much as I'm going to use there now. So it's going to go about halfway into the tail is what I'm looking to go with it. So come up, pinch and wrap, tie down. Up, pinch and wrap, and tie down. Now, like I said, I'm going to want that bit of space as well, because there is jungle cock going in as well after my few hackles. I'm actually tying in with sparsely with about 1 turn each with a hen hackle. They're domestic and genetic hen is what I'll be using.
What's them scissors like? They look good.
I actually got these off Evo Smith. They're copter fly scissors. They're very good scissors. I literally they're €15 for the scissors, and I can't fault it. It's probably the best scissors I've ever used.
They're brilliant, the copper ones.
Absolutely brilliant, Pete. I wouldn't go past them now,
No, they're a bit pricey.
They are, but do you know what? I was happy I spent the money on it.
I've never had a pair of scissors stay sharp like they do.
No, never. These are the ones I actually like. The kit I've only got there at the moment now is only a Vineyards kit, but they're the scissors that came with it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the edge has actually stayed since I've actually got it, but the point is not out far enough for me. Do you know that kind of way? They're a bit thick on the scissors, but when you look at the one on the copter flies, you can actually see how thin up to the top that it actually is. Very thin. I find them very good.
I like the little ones he does as well. These here, even
those ones are nice actually.
That's a copter one as well. That's what they call the fine ones.
1 second there. Now I think that's the one that I have as well.
Yeah, that's the ones with the twist in the metal.
Yeah, that's the same one. Yeah, I find them very good. I can't fault them at all. So now I have that wing tied in, right? You have your body done, you have your tail in. So now I'm going to move on to hackles. Now there's an order in tying these hackles in. Andrew actually sent me the list to that one day. He actually has a video of it on YouTube as well, if you ever wanted to go on and take a look at it. Right, so it goes purple, orange, kingfisher blue is what I'm using, and fluorescent yellow then as well. So I'm going to start off. This is just purple hen cape. I actually got this from Irish Fly Supplies. I actually find the capes very good. Now, 1 second there. I'm going to hackle about that size. I'm not using much of it anyway because I'll be tying it in by the tip. I'll be doing about 1 turn, and that's per hackle anyway. It's safe space, it's keeping the fly sparse, and it's bringing a bit more movement. You can overdress a fly because, like this one here now, I found it was a bit overdressed. I tied it myself. But instead of 1 turn, I've actually used 2 turns per hackle. It cloaks the body a bit because they're a hen hackle, you see. If you can see it there. When that's in the water, yeah, it's going to flow with the current, so the hackle is just going to pierce over it. You want that body to come out a little bit. So that's why I'm going to go a little bit more sparse in this fly. I'm just going to get a hackle pliers there now, lads. Right.
Sometimes less is more.
Exactly, Pete. Now, so what I do when I'm doing this is I actually put the tip of it into my hackle pliers. It just helps me fold back. It just helps me fold back that hen hackle, and it allows me to expose the tip to where I'm going to tie it in. If you can see it properly there now. Yeah. So what I do then is I take the tip out of the hackle pliers. You'll see it there on my fingers. It allows me to tie it in. Now, what I do is when I'm tying this in, right, go 1 second there now. I'm going to pinch and loop down on top of it first because sometimes they slip. So then go 1, 2, 3. Now I'm actually going to fold that tip back on itself and then come back up 1, 2, 3. Now I found sometimes with this thread and these hen hackles, the hackles can sometimes slide out because it's a gel spun thread, you know. Well, you can help stop that by just using a bit of wax. I just put on a bit of beeswax there. Now and give it another 2 turns and go 1, 2. Now I'm going to come in here. I get rid of that tip. I can break it off or I can cut it off. Most of the time I just break it off. If I'm comfortable with how it's tied in, I'll mostly break it off, which I just did there. Now, and I put away that cape and go 1 more turn just to secure it down. And now, as I can see here, I'm having a look. I did leave a good bit of space, which is perfect for what I want to do. So now I'll come in here by the end, get my hackle pliers. This is where most of the time in this fly actually is. Now you can get a scissors. So I'm going to get my scissors and run the edge of the point up one side. It just helps to tease those fibers back on themselves. And I come up another side as well to do it. It folds them essentially. Then all you do is pull your fingers between them and you can see it there like that, probably between my fingers. You can pull them back on themselves. So it's on, so both sides of the feather are on one side. So come around 1. Right, my thread was in the way there. That's 1. Now get that out of the way. There we go. There we go. There's actually 1.5 on that. So then I come up 1 and 2. Now that's all I'm going to tie into that. And I'm going to turn that stem back on itself and tie it in. 1, 2, 3. And now tidy up here. Now come back to there. And now you'll see that bit of purple hackle tied in there. If you can manage to see it there on the camera, I'll come a bit closer because sometimes you need the camera to focus. Now, and trim away that hackle. Now, you can always keep that little bit of an extra hackle if you want to use it again if you're tying up a couple of flies as well afterwards. I don't all the time because it depends on the feather I'm using. Sometimes there's such a taper in the feathers that you'd almost want to size up the fly or size down the fly depending on the size of the feather. Now, after that then, what have I got then? I've got orange. Turn in an orange hen hackle then. These ones are from Torrell. I get these cheap from a shop here in Cork. So I think I paid about €8 a cape for the hen capes. But I find them very good as well. No, 1 second there. I just find the feather that you want, that you think is right. No, so I found the one I want. So pull that out there. No, and do the same thing again. Hackle pliers on the tip and expose the tip and fold back your fibers of what you're going to use in the fly. Simple again like that. Now 1, 2, 3, and do the same thing again. Fold that tip back on itself. 1, 2, and now I'm going to come in with my wax, a bit of wax on the thread, and then come over again once more. There we go. That's 3 turns. And now this time I'm actually going to come in with my scissors. Now I'm going to see what way, because these hen hackles, you see, they're lighter than a cock hackle. They do kind of splay into each other. So I'm kind of I'm a bit of a perfectionist in a sense where small things annoy me. So I like things done right, but that's only down to me. You know, it's nothing to do with anybody else. It's just to do with my own thing. So now that's that tied in there. You can see it there. Now that's that, Pete.
Fly dressers OCD. We all got it.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly true. Now, and the thing about it, Pete, is it makes no difference to the fish.
Oh no, but we don't tie. We tie for ourselves more than for the fish, I think.
Exactly. Do you know, I've had more fish on beat up flies than I've had on a perfectly tied fly. Like, no, that's around on the first. That's a half turn. There's 1. 1 second there. Now I have to kind of. Oh, you see, that's what I was talking about. Sometimes that folds back in itself, but that's all right. Look, it can help me go back 1, 2, 3. Pull out the tip again and fold back those twice. Now, tuck it back in. 1, 2, 3. Fold it back in itself. 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
What thread is it, Luke?
The thread, it's not the thread that broke, it was the hackle that slipped out of it.
Yeah, what thread are you using? You said something yesterday, gel spud or whatever.
It's from Troutline. It's gel spun 50 denier. It's 50 denier. It's thin thread, you see, but
Right.
it's very strong. Very, 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 very strong. I've never had it break off me while tying. Never. Now you can go to Lagarton, sorry, as well, and they do a gel spun thread as well in white. And if you wanted to finish off your head like a bright head, you could just use a bit of Glow Bright number 4 then in the head if you wanted to do that, because that's what a lot of people do as well.
That gel spun thread, that's just nano silk sort of stuff, isn't it?
Similar, Matthew, yeah. Similar. So now that's that hackle tied in there. Now, and then I'm going to fold it back on itself. You can get nano silk and stuff like that. I've actually got a bit of Semperfly nano silk that I bought at the last show there. I find it good as well. Sometimes I tie spiders and stuff like that with it. But for whenever I'm tying salmon flies, this is my go-to. You know.
But what's the actual name of the fly you're tying, Luke?
Poly-chrome Cascade, Derek.
Pardon?
A Poly-chrome Cascade. No. There's the first 2 hackles so that you've got tied on, right? And they're nice and sparse. But sometimes I find when you're tying on hen hackles as well, they do automatically sit back, especially when you're pinching and looping. Do you know that kind of a way? No, 1 second there. So what I kind of do is display them back out. I come in and tease the fibers back. This is what I do. It's just to expose that body a little bit more, and it allows you to see where you're at when you're tying too. So now I can see the body, and I can see the amount of space that I've got left here as well up before the bead. It just allows me to measure as I go, basically. Right. So now I'm just going to put those 2 capes away because I have them here in front of me, and you'd be surprised if I looked under my desk, it's absolutely destroyed with materials. And under here, you know, I cleaned the table. Cleaning the table was enough. Cleaning under me wasn't. But yeah, that's those 2 out of the way now. So now the next one after that, then I'm using Kingfisher Blue. That's what I'm using. I love this color. I love it in bucktail as well. The bucktail that I have there is Kingfisher Blue too. No, and find the feather that you want again.
Is that from Sam as well?
No, this one is actually a Turles one. I actually have a few orders that I need to get off of Sam. I like the look of his what's the ones? They're silver badger capes, but they're domestic. They're not they don't break the bank. You know, I love a silver badger and salmon flies. So I try out that one as well first. See how I go with it because I have a silver badger cape here in hen. It's a Turles one as well, but always found it good in my salmon flies. But the difference between a cock hackle and a hen hackle, as you know, is night and day. Like a cock hackle will move better on the water. Your hen hackle is just going to cloak. So that's why I'm going sparse with these. I'm doing a turn at a time. That's about it.
Yeah.
Apologies, the heat inside in here is roasting. No. So in here, I'm going to go along. I'm going to get. No, I take this hackle. Same thing again. Hackle pliers. Hold it back. Same thing again. Expose that tip. Tie it in. 1, 2, 3. Now, come in with my bit of wax again on the thread. As I said, it is gel spun, so it is a little bit slippery. So your hackles can be prone to slipping in it, unfortunately. So now I'm going to tidy up the head area here as well with a bead, just so I know where I'm going again. Now I'm going to pull back that. That's my tip, and I'm going to pull it away and into my wastebasket again and tie it down once more. There we go. Now I'm going to get my hackle pliers again. So now fold back those fibers in between your fingers. You can moisten your fingers as well, simply like that, and just tease those fibers back. If you don't want to keep coming in with the scissors, and to save yourself time, you know, you can just moisten them and pull back those few fibers. So there is one. I'm going to go 1.5 on this one. Now, a few fibers in the way there. No. Tie that down. There's one. And there is 2. No, 2 turns is enough to hold it. No. Pull back that stem on itself again too.
What way do you fish that fly, Luke?
What's that?
What way do you fish with that fly? Because I'm new to salmon angling, like I haven't a clue with it.
Well, you see, it depends now. You see, because this one that I have tied here, I used it on slacker water, smaller size, and I didn't get a tug on it. But I had one tied the other day on a partridge hook, and unfortunately, it got broke off me by a fish there the other day. But I fish in fast water when I'm salmon fishing. I actually, the closest part to me here, there's a weir up above, and a lot of salmon sit below it. You know, you've got a lot of fish that's running here at the moment, and a lot of them do sit off there. You can go up a bit further where the river gets narrower, we'll say, and the water flows a bit faster, a little bit up further upriver. Where I fish, it's a wide part of the river, you know, so I'm not actually leaving out a lot of line either. So what I mainly do is when I cast out like simple flies like this, even tube flies, because I had one on a tube fly as well the other day on a yellow and green sunray, I've got a 10-foot poly leader on. It's usually intermediate. If the water is a bit heavier, I'll go on to a sink tip, but it's usually intermediate is what I fish it with. And I cast it out the line with a little bit of the shooting head as well in behind it, and I just jig. That's what I do. I just jig the line with my fingers, and usually it provokes the fish. I find that little tactic has been working for me since last year. Whatever it does to them, it seems to annoy them a lot, and it works in my favor at the end of the day. That's the way I fish when I'm fishing off of a weir itself. No, that's that. So now I'm going to get the last hackle, which is just a yellow hen hackle. That one is from Turles as well. I've got a couple of capes there from Sam as well, and I got a couple from Turles. Let me see that now. Right, there's a hackle.
Is that from Turles or is it one of his other ones?
What's that, Pete?
Is that a matchstick from Turles or is it one of his others?
I think it's one of his others. I think anyway. 1 second there now. You see there, look, it's just in a clear package and it has his stamp on the top of it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm going to tie in that yellow hackle now. This is the last hackle. There is a bit of tying in this fly. There's times where I can where I can be do it faster doing it myself, but explaining it through videos just for step by step references for anybody that wants to tie the fly. Do you know? So now over here is 1, 2. There we go. Pull back that tip again. 1 second there now, because that tip is after folding in on itself. There we go.
Certainly going to be visible with those colours, different colours in it.
Well, that's it. You know, it's nice and bright. It is very nice and bright. But from what I understood, I see this fly a few around the place over the past year or so, and I have heard it's done very well. So I've decided to give it a go myself, and I actually had a fish on it there towards the start of the week. You know, so it does work. It works well for the growth.
You said you were fishing slack water, and you also fish faster water as well.
That was when I went further up river. You see, the river I have, it splits off into 2 channels. Do you know?
Yeah. My question is, do you use any different? Do you use any different, like a cock hackle in fast water compared to a soft in calm?
Yeah. I would use a cock hackle in faster water.
Yeah.
It pulses better.
Yeah.
Do you know, it pulses better. And that's actually a tip I got off a lad that was tying at the show there last month. He said that if you had to look at the flies in the water, right? He said, just for reference, he said, before you even throw on and fish it, he said on a piece of tippet, tie on a fly that you've got tied with hen hackle, and throw on another fly that you got tied with cock hackles. He said, put it in the water and see the movement, see the action in them.
Yeah.
And the difference in them is night and day, like, do you know?
Yeah.
See that pulse in action and with the cock hackle, like.
Yeah, no, I do the same, and I was rediscovering a chap called Cutcliffe from years and years ago.
Yeah.
Tied his soft hackles with cock capes.
Oh yeah.
Purely and simply for faster waters because they work differently.
They do. That's why I use the hen on the
general fishing.
Quick. Sorry.
This was just general fishing for trout.
Okay.
You know, he used to use soft in slow water, but then go to a cock hackle in fast.
Yeah. The action is better. Depends on the speed of the water, wherever you're fishing. That's down to preference. You know yourself, please. No, I'm going to put those 2 capes away there. So that's all the hackles tied in, and basically what we do then at the end is just plain and simple is a bit of jungle cock. So I'm going to tie in some natural jungle cock eyes. Now,
Do you think the jungle cock catches any more fish, or is that just for the angler?
you know what? That's a hard one to say because I've always got jungle cock in my flies. No, saying that, I was asked to tie an order yesterday of if anybody knows the fly, it's a good sea trout and salmon fly. It's called a Hogger. Very simple fly to tie, but the man that wants it tied, he wants it tied with no tail. It's basically a mirage body, bit of a blue hen hackle underneath as a beard, and it's got a bit of Arctic runner and some pearl crystal flash at the back. No jungle cock. And apparently it does this man very well, so I suppose it's down to preference again, maybe. You know? Now, as you can probably see there in that one, I have a few of the eyes already taken out of there, so I'm going to get probably 2 medium-sized eyes, give or take. So we've got one here, 1 sec now. There's one.
So he does think it makes any difference.
Not really. Is that see, this is down to angler's preference then again as well. Do you know yourself, Pete? Sometimes the length of the eyes doesn't matter. But for me, it's more of an aesthetic thing.
They do look nicer in the fly box.
They do. Get another one over here now. 1 sec. I just measured the size of that eye. Yeah, I got one there. No, just break that one away as well. Well, they actually broke it badly enough. It's only the eye that came off. So now I'm just going to peel that back, nice and simple.
You did say the size of the hook at the start, but I was too busy. What size was it again, please?
Size 6, Derek.
Size 6.
Now, the body of this hook is actually fairly short. It is fairly short, right? But it's got a wide gape. It's got a wide. If you see the difference, right, in this hook here, the gape is not that big in the hook. You know, when you go around the bend.
Yeah.
I find with these hooks, they're extra, like the partridge hooks, they're just extremely strong. Like, you know, I can't fault these ones, especially the Nordic tube singles. I haven't had one bent out to me yet. You know,
Partridge are good hooks.
very good hooks. Like plenty of their doubles and stuff there. So that's all I tie on, really. You know, that is all I tie on. Now, with these jungle cockeyes, you probably know as well, I peel back a bit of feather before I tie it in. I couldn't show you on that last one because just the eye itself broke off one of the feathers, so I just tied it in as quick as I could. Just measure it out. No. Measure it out to about there, hold it down, go around once, twice, three. Right. Now, just have a look where things are sitting here at the end, you know, especially from an angler's preference. Where do you want your eyes to sit? Do you want them in close? Do you want them out a bit further? Do you want them near the top, or do you want them down the side? I kind of have them at a 45-degree angle if you were to look down the eye of the hook, either side, maybe 45-degree angle, you could say. So then, look, I just fold that back on itself, and I do the same with the other side then. And then just tie it in 1, 2, 3. Now, what I actually do here to tighten everything up is I get a bit of super glue. It's just to hold that jungle cock in, and it prevents it from splitting out. You know, it does split because jungle cock is known to slip. So get a bit of super glue with a brush and rub it along the thread. Just a small amount of the thread. And close that bottle back up. Right. Now you have the super glue on your thread. Tie it down 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what I actually do in this point here is then I get my UV resin again. In a second there. Now I actually have a bit of thread coming off there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as I get my UV resin again, I'm actually going to have to get that one with the brush, Pete.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Fly box to it. It does hard as nails as well, like a hard as nails as well.
Yeah, that stuff is good as well.
So I use
a little bit of a thread onto the rubber needle, and I rub it onto the thread because I'm tying the bead head here, so I don't affect any of the feathers in behind it or any of the materials. I just rub it along the thread. That's what I do, and especially you just had it. I just tied down a bit of super glue on it as well, like, you know. So then I'm going to come in with a whip finisher. Then it's a nice small whip finisher, and then I go 1, 2, 3. Now, sometimes I only do 2 turns, but I'm going to do 4 there just to have that bit of extra. No, that's not coming off, like. No, apologies, I knocked my camera there. That's my clumsy hands. No, just come in. That's that trimmed away. And then come in with my torch. Sometimes I over-cure the thing, I think. No. So that's that fly done. I have a bit of a feather here from the jungle cock that I didn't cut off, so I'm going to trim that out now. I don't trim them out until I'm finished the fly, usually until I cure it and everything, just so everything sits nice and that I don't have to fiddle with anything. Now, that's the fly there, all done. I'm going to fish it now myself.
Yeah, it looks better with a jungle cock, but I don't think the fish care.
No, they don't. They don't usually, but look, I just tie them in for myself, especially for the money I paid for. So,
yeah, the jungle cock actually looks like the eye of the shrimp, doesn't it? The eye of the prawn.
get him to sit back. Do you know, if you get him to sit back further into the tail, Derek, you can make him look like the eye of the shrimp.
Yeah.
Now, saying that, I am going to test out that theory as well over the next few days because I am tying an order for a guy with those hoggers. I'm going to tie 1 or 2 of them for myself on a couple of hooks that I got here, and I'm going to chance trying them out just to see will it make any difference. And I bet you, I'll probably meet more fish doing it. Do you know? But in the faster water up here, what I do find works very well are sunray shadows. I find them brilliant. Do you know? I had a fish the other day on them. I had a yellow and green sunray. It was actually on a copper tube. It was on a copper tube to get it to cut through the surface because the weir that I the water is very fast. Do you know?
Would you have the stuff in front of you to tie one of these shadows?
I do, but I have to reset up the whole voice in that kind of a way. They're a simple fly. What I'll do is I actually got, I think, pictures, you know, step-by-step pictures of the flies themselves.
Yeah.
So what I do is I might send it on to you there afterwards, Matthew, if you want it. Now you
yeah,
can't.
put it into the grid.
What's that?
Put it into the grid. Then everyone get a look at it.
Yeah, I'll throw it into the group there. Yeah, just a few step-by-step pictures I have of a couple of sunray shadows. I've seen them tied on trebles, doubles, singles. I just tie them on tubes myself. Again, that's probably for aesthetic purposes as well. But look, that's just what I do. Right, I'm going to tie one more fly then here now. It's another bead head again. It's actually one that I fished alongside that Poly-chrome Cascade. It's just basically a Highlander Cascade. Most of you probably know it anyway.
So when you're fishing, you have two of these bead head flies on.
I do. Sometimes I use a smaller bead head in behind it or a smaller hook. Do you know?
Yeah.
Usually that's what I do when I'm fishing bead heads. Even when I'm nymphing or anything like that, when I'm fishing for trout, it's always the bigger, heavier bead head is on the point, and then you have your smaller flies in behind it just to drift.
Yeah.
You know yourself anyway, sure. But now I do have choices in beads here. I've got chartreuse beads and I've got hot orange beads or fluorescent orange. Sorry. No.
And what size of beads are you putting on them? Size 6 hooks?
3.2. 3.2. You could use a 3.8 if you wanted. I'm going to get a few size 8s in those Nordic tube singles. I'm going to get a few more beads. I'm going to get them in different sizes as well. I just got a few of those two color sets of beads. Try them out and see what they're like on the bead heads.
Are they copper or tungsten?
Tungsten.
Tungsten.
Yeah, tungsten. So they're nice and heavy, and the hooks are heavy as it is. Like they're a very long wire gauge in those hooks. Do you know? You won't be bending them anytime soon. Like I'm trying to force that to bend. You're not bending it, like. No, well, a fish isn't bending it, that I can say, because they haven't been bent on me yet. I have been broke off the other day. I got broke off. I'd say I had a wind knot in the line, just where my dropper is, and my line broke where the dropper was. So I lost both of the flies. So that's why I'm retying them here now. Right.
I say it's good that you got some salmon to fish for. Over here, it's very poor.
Is it? There's a lot of places it's gone very poor, Pete. The thing is, there is a hatchery on our river. It's above the dam. I don't know if that's contributing in a good way or a bad way, to be honest with you, because everybody's got different opinions with hatcheries. No, I put a fluorescent orange bead on this one.
Do you think the bead color plays a difference? Do you pick a different bead for different water?
No, really.
Or?
Sometimes I just experiment, Matthew. You just never know.
Yeah.
You know, you just never know. When I was tying alongside a guy at the show a couple of months ago there, he was saying things to me. Do you know, with an alley shrimp, salmon fly, if you tie it on a double, most of the time it's tied with bucktail.
Yeah.
He said to me, he said, you'll be surprised. He said, tie in, when you're tying another one again, he said, tie in some squirrel tail. He said he's actually had more fish on an alley shrimp with squirrel tail than he has with bucktail. He said there's better movement out of it. And because it contrasts to a bright color into dark and then back into a bright color again, he said he feels like it does something to the fish. And this fella's salmon fishing 40 years, maybe 50, I think he was saying to me. So that's what he said he always found with it. No. I'm going to wind down here again. No.
Slightly out of focus, Luke.
Am I out of focus?
If you put your finger on the vice, it should come back into. There you go.
Is it back in?
That's better, yeah.
Okay, sorted. Right. Take it around the bend again. Now you could do the same thing that I did last time on the last fly. You could put in some of that hotspot again. You could put in some of that lime green floss. But in this one, I'm going to put in just a little bit of oval silver. That's just what I'm going to put in, and this is in small. So I take out a strand of that, pull off a bit, trim it up. And because it's a single hook, there's no double or anything, I don't need to bring it back up. So I'm actually going to wind it back up to thread turns. So I'm going to tie it on in here now. And bring it up that bend to where your hook levels back out. Now, I'm going to bring that up here again as well, just to get it out of the way when I'm tying up this. Am I still in focus there, Derek?
Yeah.
Perfect. Right.
Mind you, my eyesight ain't too good.
It's all right, neither is mine. I only got glasses recently enough. Right, I'm actually going to go back around here. I feel like there was a bit of a gap in one of my turns. So there's that there. Same thing again. There. There. No. I'm going to wind back down the hook again. So come down to about here. I'm going to cross. As you can see what I did there, I crossed my oval silver with my thread and then turn and then tied it in. No. And again. No. And wind it up the body just to secure it. There we go. Nice and simple. Come up about halfway. And I'm going to trim that off then. Now, with this fly, I'm wondering, because I am putting in some of this, it is fluorescent chartreuse, flat braid. Now, I'm trying to see here, does it contrast actually with my background at my top? I think you can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. So, because that's what I'm tying in for the body. So I'm coming up halfway when I tied in that, when I tied in my rib, come back down the hook. Come back down to that bend again. Right. And I'm slightly gone beyond where the hook would be considered flat, right? So I come around that bend slightly, it's so I can get that bucktail to splay up again. So what I'm going to tie in here for this one, I'm actually going to use fluorescent orange bucktail, and I'm going to use just plain yellow bucktail then again. Now, Matthew, you were asking me a question the last day when I'm cutting from my bucktail. Where do I cut from when it comes to salmon flies?
Yes, it was just because, see, with the pike flies, I heard that different parts of the bucktail do different things, and I was wondering if it's the same for salmon flies.
No, not exactly. Not exactly. When I'm cutting bucktail from my salmon flies, you have your dark piece here at the back. You can see it there.
Yeah.
And then as you come around here, this is a bucktail piece rather than a whole bucktail. So then you've got your brighter feather, your brighter pieces here. You know, the quality of it is better. So that's where I usually trim from, Matthew. That's where I usually trim from. So I take out whatever, how much I'm going to use, right? I find that actually the quality of this bucktail I got was actually very good. You can see it there. No, I'm going to trim out that much.
Nice colour.
Very nice colour. The fluorescent orange is a very nice colour. I don't know what it is. I have a fascination with bright colours, Pete. So now,
I always rated orange for bass in muddy water,
yeah,
and it just attracts fish. When the water's coloured, orange is something they see better than any other colour.
do you think so?
Yeah.
Okay. Saltwater patterns are something that I'm going to get into. It's a big thing around here. I didn't realize it was as big as it was till I started meeting different people and stuff like that around here. And saltwater fishing is very good because we have a lot of coast around here. Do you know, bass fishing is supposed to be very good. Sea trout fishing is supposed to be very good as well off the coasts. We have a lot of estuaries around here as well. Do you know, and
Yeah.
they're not actually too far from me either. It's just about getting to them. It's about not being lazy.
Oh, it's a good fishing. Whereabouts are you?
In Cork City, in Cork City in Ireland.
All right, I haven't fished that high up.
Have you not?
No, around Killarney at the bottom. I've done Waterford, Killarney, and around that area.
Ah, okay. Have you fished the River Shore?
Don't think so.
That's my river. I'm originally from Tipperary. I'm living down here the last few years. There's supposed to be salmon coming back into it now. From what I can see, it wasn't great the past few years. But from what I can see from different videos from people catching fish, there's supposed to be a good run of fish in it now.
Good to hear.
Yeah, it is, because that river was destroyed for years. There was a time there where people weren't even getting 1 or 2 fish a year off of it. From what I'm seeing, like I said, with videos and stuff there now lately, there does seem to be fish coming back into it. So it's absolutely brilliant to see that and hear it as well. Like,
Yeah, we have got enough salmon to say I'm going salmon fishing tomorrow, really.
yeah,
And I'm on the good rivers in the UK, which used to be. I'm near the River Exe.
okay.
And in Roman days, the city of Exeter used to take 2,000 salmon a week off that river.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of salmon. That
Yeah,
is a lot of salmon. I had a guy telling me the other night, he said, like you, 30 years ago, even 20 years ago, the fishing was a million times better than what it was now. There's just been a massive decline, like, and it's probably for all for different reasons as well.
yeah, it's not just one thing, but I noticed the decline here when the gillnet got introduced.
Yeah. Yep, I have that a lot on my river.
It disappeared. Sea trout, salmon, bass, mullet.
Yeah. No. You see there's a bit of contrast in colours now. Light, fluorescent orange is a bit light, so it does blend into the yellow. Now, sometimes I like using hot orange, but there's times then as well, for when the water's a little bit faster flowing, when it's heavier, I do like that bit brighter. So again, measure double length of the hook. Going. No. Pinch and loop again. 1, 2, and then wrap it down. And now I'm going to splay it out and under. I'm going to come under that bucktail, and you'll see it's kind of way it's kind of sitting there. It'll kind of sit up the way, and it'll kind of separate as well at the same time, and then tie down once more. Now I'm going to come up the body, tighten down that bucktail, and I'm going to trim it as well. Cut it with a bit of a taper on it again, and then wind all the way up, securing in that bucktail, and then wind your way back down, getting ready to tie in the rest. So now in this one, I'm going to use that micro flash that I was showing you on the last fly earlier. So I'm using the silver micro crystal flash from Vineyards. It's a nice thin crystal flash, very nice. Second there now. It's so thin, getting a piece of it actually can be sometimes annoying. No. Cut off a bit here.
I like that crystal flash. Use a lot of that.
Do you like that stuff as well, do you, Pete?
Yeah, I think it's one of the best crystal flashes out there.
Fact, 100%. 100%.
You don't need it.
I find with other crystal flashes, they can be very thick, Pete.
Sorry, I didn't get through.
I said I find with other crystal flashes, they can be very thick.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is nice and thin, like, as you know there yourself, like, it is very thin. I put 3 strands in this tail. So same thing again. Measure it either the length of the tail or slightly longer. It's just a bit of a flash then. It's 1, 2, 3. And now it's mixed into the tail perfect there. So I'm going to wind these up, come up about halfway, and wind my way back down. I'm going to cut them off. No. Wind my way back down then. And now, because it's a Highlander Cascade, usually some people, they like their silver in the body, stuff like that. I've been experimenting with it lately. I've been getting some takes, and that's with that stuff there. I just do a whole body of this.
Yeah.
No, scissors. No. Put off a length about that much, because you're looking to overlap each last turn as well. Just to tighten it down, makes it a bit stronger, last that bit longer.
It's a fantastic product, that flat braid. I've been using it for about 10 years or so.
Have you been using it for that long, have you?
Yeah, I tie all my flat wings with it.
Oh, okay.
And also a lot of bait fish patterns, like small sprats and stuff.
Yes. Do you ever, let me ask you that, dude. Do you ever separate it sometimes, to make it look more like fibers?
I haven't done, no. I just tend to put it on as the body. And when
Oh,
to do something else for, the tail or whatever.
right. Because I've been noticing when I've been tying in, the bit of flap braid as well from time at times, like at times you see the end of it, they look like little fibers sticking out. I've
Yeah,
always wondered if you kind of peeled your nails along it a little bit, would it kind of turn into more fibers than anything?
it probably would, but I've never used it for that. I use it as a body protection.
Okay, okay.
And it gives a scaling effect.
Yeah. Now I'm putting a bit of super glue on the body again for this stuff because, like I said earlier, you won't need wire with it, as you know as well yourself, Pete. So now that body has the dab of super glue on it, top and bottom. And now I'm going to do a full turn here at the back just to get that secured down. There we go. It's a full turn there. And I'm going to wind my way up and I'm going to overlap, touch and turns all the way up to here. Now, second there. No. Leave a little bit of a gap here because I'm going to tie in some Arctic Fox again and I'm going to tie in two cock hackles. I'm going to tie in, I've got a yellow badger hackle and I've also got hot orange badger hackles. No. No. I can actually keep that little bit of flat braid as well for another fly. If I wanted to tie any sunray shadows or anything like that, they're kind of handy for micro ones, or if I'm tying any hitch tubes, that's what they're quite handy for. No. A bit of gap left there. And I'm going to get more Arctic Fox again. Where did I leave it? I have it here. Sometimes I have to go looking for a lot. Right. Some more Arctic Fox again, so measure out the amount that you want for yourself. Second there now. Just try and focus that back in if it's not focused. There we go. No. Same thing again, lads. Most of you know, pull out that underfur as well from the end of the Arctic Fox. I like experimenting with these bead heads. Sometimes I'll use a longer kind of a wing. I'll leave the guard hairs in and I'll have them go almost 3/4 of the way down the tail, which is what I'm going to do on this one. So about half to 3/4 of the way into the tail. Now turn, pinch and wrap, and pinch and wrap. So that's 2 turns, which secures it down. Now, yeah, you can see it there. It just sits in nicely. You can see it there up against. Yep. Now I'm going to trim away that bit of Arctic Fox up here. I'm actually going to tie it down another couple of wraps. Arctic Fox does kind of split on me sometimes. I've noticed with these good scissors when you're cutting, no matter how careful I actually am with them, they're very sharp. No. No. So that's that tail tied in, it's the body done, and that's your wing as well. So now what I'm going to do is I have to go on a little bit of a route here. Stuff all over the place. No. So I'm going to tie in some silver badger. It's actually yellow silver badger cockhackles, and I have some hot orange then as well. Actually, that's my fluorescent orange because I'm going to match the tail that I tied in then as well. Right, so pick out two hackles that you like. Get the length that you like for the size of the fly as well. Now, I just have a look through some of these. I think this one is actually nice here. Yeah, that's the one. That's my yellow. Put that away. And then get my fluorescent orange hackles. Have I'll have a look at one that you want then. I like this one. No. So that's my two hackles that I want picked out. And you do the same thing with these as I did with my hen hackles before. And I always tie in my hackles by the tip. When I'm tying in my salmon flies, I do it on my trout flies as well. I just find that the fibers towards the top of the feather are actually better. So when I'm tying these, even with cascades or anything like that, I always tie in the yellow first and I tie in the orange afterwards. Now, what I have seen some people doing, which I've done as well in the past myself, is you can lie the two hackles side by side. You can pull back the feathers on both. You can tie them in together. It'll keep the colors, it'll mix the colors through each other as you wind them up. This is just the way I like to do it because it kind of separates the colors then. No, you can see there, that's the tip, and I have it folded back, and the tip is where I want to be tying it in. No, no, break off that tip then as well. No, I don't need any hackle pliers for these because cock hackles are longer as well by nature. So I'm just going to come in with the scissors as well, and I have a little bit of a handle up here on the end of the feather anyway. So I'm going to tease back those fibers then again. Cock hackle fibers are a little bit more stubborn, but they look better in a salmon fly. Anyway, I think let's fold back those few fibers around. There's one, there's two, bring it back, and that is three. Yeah, tie that over, one, there's two. And then I'm going to fold it back in itself there, and I'm going to tie the stem down. No, that's my bit of yellow cock hackle tied in. And then I just cut that away. You can use that again for another fly as well afterwards. If I'm tying up a few of these one after the other, that's what I normally will do. I'll keep the few feathers that I've had from beforehand. It's just so it'll save on it. You know, there's no point in wasting anything as well either. I do wire and stuff like that too. Usually what I do with wire is I pull off a long piece when I'm using it in my flies, and I just use a small piece of that bit long piece I cut off each time. You know, it just saves. Materials are not cheap no more. And fold back the tip again. No, I'm gonna get that tip then as well. No, just broken the tip away. Now, just to hold all that down, I'm going to get a bit of glue again with a brush, and I'm going to wipe it along the thread just so I can tighten down everything that I've got tied in so far. Just a dab of it as well, not much of it at all. You don't need much with super glue. A little bit of it goes a long way. Now, pull that back. 1, 2, and put that back here. That's 3. Here we go. Now, I'm going to do the same thing as I done with the last hackle as well. I'm going to fold it on itself. I'm going to do it either side now this time actually, just so it sits better when I'm winding. So now, pull it back. 1. And there's 2. I'm actually going to go 2.5 turns on this one. Cock hackle fibers are finer anyway. It's not like they're not as bulky as hen hackle fibers.
That's a pattern I'd be very happy fishing in clear water
Yeah,
on a day.
100%. That's what I've been fishing lately. Anyway, Pete, these two flies the last few days. I've been fishing one on the point, one on the dropper, and I'm happy out with them because I've been getting takes on them. I've been meeting fish with them, like so they're working. And you know what they say? Don't like if it's not broke, don't fix it. No, no, that's my hackles tied in. You could leave the jungle cock out if you want. You fish it away grand like that, especially with a cock hackle anyway, because that pulses in the water. Salmon are more about movement, I think, than look. You know, you piss them off enough, they're going to go for it.
Yeah.
You know, plain and simple. But for me, I'm going to tie in that jungle cock.
It looks better in the box.
That's exactly it. Because it doesn't matter after fishing it for a while anyhow. Like if I get a few fish on it anyhow, the jungle cock is going to pull out. Regardless. I don't think no matter how much glue or UV resin you have at the head, they're going to pull out. They're a very light, sensitive feather. So they do pull out after a while. Regardless. So no. Come in here. There's a nice sweater. I like that one. Take that one. And I'm going to take this one too.
What do you think of this synthetic jungle cock?
I do use a bit of it. I actually use it in some orders as well. Some lads actually prefer it because they seem to last a bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough.
On trout flies there, you can get away with goose biots. What about on salmon fly? Do you get away with goose biot on them or?
Earlier, look what I've got here. This is dyed orange goose bite. See it here now.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I cut it into shape to make it almost look like it. I use them a lot on my sea trout flies for the river. That's what I use those on. Sometimes I use them on. Actually, I used them the other day. I have an order as well for a guy for a load of DL backs, and that's what I actually use in my DL backs as well. Rather than throwing in a bit of jungle cock, I actually trim up a bit of those, and they work absolutely perfect. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know whether it's just me. I could never use synthetic.
No. You see, actually, do you know what I find, Pete? The synthetic is actually very hard to tie in.
Yeah, I just don't. It just doesn't seem right.
No, it doesn't. And whatever about it is, it creates a lot of bulk. I like a neat head, my fly. They create an awful lot of bulk, Pete. Do you know? And I'm not big on bulk. There's certain salmon flies and sea trout flies now where you see them where the head is nice on them. It's not too big, not too small, but there's a nice little bubble of a head there. Sometimes it works very well as a hotspot instead of a bead almost. Do you know? Especially in doubles anyway.
Yeah, you got a bead on there, so you got a hot spot at the front anyway.
Exactly.
I don't see. It goes against my, I don't know, old-fashioned fly tying, perhaps.
Right. I'm going to pull this out here now. Just get your measurements right in your jungle cock.
While I'm jungle cock, I'm not worried about using it.
Ah, yeah. Or just for myself. There we go. Jesus Christ! I can hear a kid screaming outside. He sounds upset. He has to go in home. No, I'll just fold these back then for myself. Put a little bit of thread and wind down. Actually, it might have went back a bit far there. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I just get rid of all that kind of dark black underneath. I want a nice kind of bright hot spot in behind that bead. No. So that's perfect. As you can probably see there, there's a little bit of a hot spot in behind the bead. Not too much, just enough. So what I'm going to do now again is do the same thing I did earlier. Get that super glue again. Dab a little bit of it on. You don't need a whole lot of it. And now I am going to go 1, 2, and 3. Now that's all the super glue tied onto the hook anyway. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with that UV resin again. Little dab of it. And I'm going to wipe it along my thread here, just because I'm tying a bead head. I don't want to ruin that material on the actual fly itself. So now,
Have you got a preference on which UV resin you typically use?
you know what? Most of the time I don't, but I got one off Peter Driver in Pescari Fly, and the one that I've been using the past few months, I find it very good because there's less smell off it. Is this
Yeah.
stuff here, Solares? It's a little tube.
Yeah.
About a fiver, I think I paid for the tube or something like that. I'm still getting a long time out of it. Like I think I got it in March, something like that. And I'm getting a long time out of it. I tied a lot of Euro nymphs with it as well, so I wasted a lot of it on nymphs.
Do you keep it in the fridge?
I don't actually.
You keep it in the fridge. Stephen,
I've never heard of it.
What's that?
keep it in the fridge. It'll last even longer.
Will it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to do that.
I find with some resins, they almost stay tacky even after you've hit them with a light.
Yeah,
I found this one to be tacky. I found this. It just once you cure it properly, cure it right, it's never got tacky for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I do have this stuff that I got on Timo as well one day. I have a big tube or a big bottle of UV resin there.
Yeah.
And I got that on Timo one day. Now this stuff is very thick, right?
Yeah.
So you only need to use a very small dab if you're tying nymphs or anything like that, because it does go tacky. Do you know?
Yeah.
You're basically with UV resins, you're going to get what you pay for.
I like the Raids app. I've found it very good.
Raids app are very good. They're a brilliant UV resin. Now, that's that head cured. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back those two jungle cock stalks that I had left tied in and trim away this one.
Do it like David McPhail and snap it off there.
Do you know, for years when I first started tying when I was a teenager, that's where I went to watch and learn how I tied, was through Davy McPhail.
I watch him and he snaps the jungle cock off, and I couldn't bring myself to do that. I'd rip the fly out or wreck the jungle cock or something.
You have it cured already with the UV resin, you can snap it away, no problem. And he peels away all the fibers, you see. Do you know, in behind it, he only leaves the eye. So the only thing he's pulling is stalk, and it pulls out no problem. I've done it a load of times. And that only comes with a bit of practice as well, Matthew. But it comes out no bother. Yeah, I was afraid the first few times I did it too. You know, I really was. I was afraid I was going to rip the whole fly out of it.
For the price you're paying for the jungle cock as well.
No, that's that fly there now. I actually I put in the hot orange hackle, the hot orange hackle in that one. Sorry. What I do put into it as well, I replace the hot orange hackle sometimes with a green badger hackle as well, cock hackle. So you have a bit of variation of what way you want to tie it. That body, it's a nice green body in there. Just like a simple cascade, but with a green body.
You want my address and I'll stick that in my box?
No bother. I think I have another one of them tied there somewhere, so if you want it, I'll send one up to you. Right. How are we all fixed, lads?
Anybody got any questions for Luke?
Would you fish two of those big flies at once, yeah?
I would, but like I was saying there earlier in the video, what I'd use see something like this, right? A bigger one, a bigger single bead, sometimes a little bit bigger. Then I'd fish a smaller size one in behind it, like this one here. Yeah. It's like I said, same kind of nymphing and stuff like that too. That's the way.
What sort of distance between the flies have you got?
That depends. You see, when I'm fishing, it depends on what way I'm fishing. Because if I'm fishing a sink tip, I don't need a lot. I need about 3 or 4 foot after the sink tip. Once you tie it onto the end of the tipper ring, 3-4 foot of leader, and you have to look at where you're fishing as well. How deep is it? Look at your depth. How high is the line going to stay in the water because of the speed of the current? You know. But I usually use 3, like on average, 3 to 4 foot a leader after the sink tip or after my intermediate. Maybe with the intermediate.
What breaking stream of line do you have on?
I use 13 pounds and I use Seagar when I'm fishing salmon. I find Seagar brilliant. I've used every year with all different other tipping line out there last year when I was fishing for salmon. The amount of times I got broke off last year was unnatural. And then this year I switched over and I started using Seagar. And I just can't say enough about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Do you know? So that's what I won't come away from. When it comes to cigar, it can be expensive on the expensive side, Matthew. It's 23 to 25 euro a spool for about 100 meters, I think, something like that. But it's thin diameter. You know, it's a thinner diameter than most standard 13-pound tippets. You know, so that's what I'd mainly use. That's what I mainly use when it comes to salmon fishing. When I'm trout fishing or when I'm nymphing or anything like that, I go to things like airflow, side three tippets, or I will use frog hair, if you know frog hair.
Oh, that stuff's expensive.
That's the 11 euro a spool. The cigar is expensive. I have only bought one there the other day. I actually found a mad thing there. I'm just going to show it there if anybody is around Lidl or anything the next few days. If you're out wading, I picked one of these up. It's been looking at me there. It's a simple hiking stick, but it has a spike in the end of it. It'd be very good for wading. You have your strap on then as well.
Exactly what I use.
Exactly what you use, is it?
Yeah.
It seems brilliant. I can't wait to get out in the river with it. At least I won't die this time.
No, I use the same.
How do you find it, Pete?
Sorry.
How do you find it?
All right, if I remember to put it and extend it when I need to.
You let the clips pop out of it, do you?
Telescopic, and I tend not to use it unless I'm really going somewhere I can't see the bottom. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I get you. I'm the same, but I'm wary of rivers anyway, because where I grew up, a lot of people passed away on the river from wading incidents and stuff like that. There is just holes where people don't realize there's holes and they're going into them, unfortunately.
Well, more embarrassment for me if I get wet more than draining, because if you know what you're doing and learn a few procedures, you can always stay safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy, because waders actually are full of air, so they don't actually hold you up if you don't panic and just relax.
What would you do with them then? Would you not sink to the bottom? No.
No, you just let your feet go towards the flow where you're going. So if you're going down the river, you got your feet in front of you, just hold your feet up and just steer yourself into the bank.
Okay. Well,
You can tell Pete's fallen in before.
what's that?
You can tell Peter's fallen in before.
100%. I fell in a few weeks ago, but I was lucky there was no current. I hit a big rock and I went flying face first. I was fishing in a Shannon in Cork. I was up there with John. We were fishing for a bit of sea trout and stuff like that. And he said it to me 3 times. Now this is my own fault. He said it to me 3 times before walking along. He said, "Mind there's rocks out in the middle." And I said, "Okay, no problem." This is pitch black anyway. We were fishing, nothing doing. Maybe a couple of pulls here and there, but no actual takes. So I'm walking back up after changing my 2 flies. So I'm walking back along delighted, thinking that I'm going to hit one on the way back down. No, instead I hit a rock and I went flying into the water. Got a bit of a fright, all right, but it didn't fill up. My waders didn't fill up, and there was no heavy current there to drag me or anything like that. So the water wasn't deep. It was about knee high, but my body still went into the water.
I mean, I was taught it when I was in the fire service, because we go into water with fire kit on.
Right.
It's very heavy. You got boots, everything you got on, but it actually holds air. And if you don't, and even Hugh Focus, you read any of Hugh Focus books, he does things on wading and how to float down the river if you get taken off your feet.
Okay.
There's a belt you can get, and it like cinches around your waist to stop a lot of water getting in. Maybe that's a good thing to be looking into.
I see that actually. I see a few lads on the river on about them. They keep telling me get the belt. But the waders I have now, my waders are not expensive. I won't use really expensive waders on the river because where I fish, there's no need for them. They're just, bear. It's spelled BEHR, picture of a bear on it. That's the model of my waders, and I paid about 80 quid for them, something like that. And they're absolutely brilliant. Saying that now, I did get a rip in them a couple of weeks ago. I'm after putting adhesive on them there earlier now as well, because that adhesive dries them up and it's flexible. So they're as good as new again once that adhesive solid hardens up. That's the word I was looking for. Once they harden up, it should be all right. You know,
Or they're 20 degrees at the moment, the water.
well, over here it's been about 19, just under.
You're going in just wading boots and a pair of shorts.
That's what I'm going to do now at some stage. What you see it? The water back here, it's fluctuating at the moment, you know, in temperature. It's going from 18 to 20. Then you have days then when it hits 27 degrees here, that water's hitting 22 and there's no point fishing.
Yeah.
So hot then.
I went out the other day. I was absolutely roasting, and I thought, I'll just go in my pair of shorts. And I went in Crocs and a pair of shorts, and as I got out of the water, a big leech stuck to my foot. Yeah.
That's the first time after hearing that in this country.
I hear them rivers are full of leeches.
I didn't fucking know that. Oh, yeah. Sorry for the language. I didn't realise that. I used my my home voice there.
Luke, when you're fishing,
all then.
What's that?
Luke, when you're fishing,
not that many leeches.
Hang on, what were you saying, Andrew?
I said when you're using hen feathers or cock feathers, I understand it for salmon, but what about if you're fishing for trout in not in rough water, not fast water, but rough? Would you use hen or cock feathers for hackles?
Well, if I'm fishing in the rougher water, I'd use a cock hackle. There's a better action out of it in the rough water, you know. Now, when I go into that softer, slacker water, if I'm fishing things, you know, like spiders and stuff like that, I'll use like a soft hen hackle, or even if you see some of these feathers here, you get on the jungle cock. See the ones up there, up the side without the eyes on it.
Yeah,
up on the shoulders.
Yeah, even a couple of them. Matthew actually said that to me before. He said, "Well, why don't you tie a couple of spiders with those soft hackles? They work very well, actually. You know,
movement in them.
So they worked very well for me for a few weeks there towards the start of the summer. I've been doing a bit of nymphing, a bit of Euro nymphing the last few weeks. I find it very good. I find it very interesting.
I've heard a lot of people taking salmon and sea trout Euro nymphing.
I've heard, well, I got a sea trout a couple of weeks ago doing it. He took a little rusty brown kind of a nymph, and there's sea trout all over the river where I'm at now. I mean, there's actually some decent sea trout in there. Like you're talking maybe 3 pound. I've seen a couple of them rise there. Now I could be mistaking them for grills as well, all the same. But from what I can see, just by the initial look of them, even out in the water, you can see them in close enough. They look more like that sea trout. You know, the spots are a little bit lower than the lateral line. You know, you can tell by the difference in the head even as well, and that kind of stuff too. Like, you know, I mistaked the sea trout I got a few weeks ago. I actually mistaked it for salmon because I looked straight at the tail. You know, a sea trout's tail.
If you're ever unsure, stick it on Facebook, and there's always somebody to tell you.
Exactly. But you know,
they would nearly argue about it.
What's that?
People would nearly argue with you about it. You know, whether you've caught a salmon or a sea trout, or
people
whether
argue.
it's brown trout or a stallion.
Yeah. I'm actually seeing a lot on Facebook lately about those Donegan trout. Have you ever caught one, Matthew? Have you ever went for them?
Yes. Yeah, we get a lot of them up here. I caught one last year, and I was out with Joe Conway, and he gave me a few flies to try out for them this year, so I'll hopefully get out after them. They're just a big brown trout, really.
Yeah, from what I've seen in some of the pictures, I've seen a few being caught lately. Further up the country, we don't get them down here, obviously. There's only select rivers. But there's supposed to be a good scrap off them, from what I hear.
Well, the tails on them look shovels. They can fairly pull a line, like.
Right. Interesting. I might have to venture up further sometime, so.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, lads. I've got to log off because my missus and the child are going to be home there now soon enough. So,
Thanks,
time for me to be in the house.
Thank you, Luke. Very good.
Not a bother, lads.
Really enjoyed that, Luke.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Not a bother, lads.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Thank
Luke. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Mind yourself.